buddies. Hi. Hey everyone, it's Jess from Meyer Hatchery. We are deep into spring and it is absolutely beautiful out here. Now that we're in the middle of the spring, I'm actually already thinking about summer. I've definitely learned with raising poultry that you're kind of always thinking a step ahead. Here are some of the things that I do to make sure that my flock is going to be ready when those really warm temperatures come. Let's get started. So the first thing that I'm doing is I'm doing a predator check because the predators are definitely awake and we're gonna have even more as we go into the summertime. So I'm checking my fencing, I'm making sure that everything looks good, I'm making sure that my skirt down here at the bottom is nice and there's no damage or anything like that. And I'm making sure that nothing can get underneath my coop or through my coop and everything looks really good. Another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do another deep cleaning. So when I took my coop out a couple months ago, right when the weather changed, I did a deep cleaning, but we've gotten a little dusty, especially from those spring rains and the mud. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pressure wash everything and I'll make sure everything's nice and clean. I'm also going to make sure that the nest box area back here is clean, that we've got fresh bedding in there. We don't want any buildup of any sort of droppings or anything like that in our house here, especially going in the summertime because you can get that buildup of ammonia and that is not healthy for your flock. I'm fortunate the way that this particular coop is set up, it's actually really easy for me to clean. I'm just gonna pull out some trays, give those a good wipe off, dump out any bedding, and I'm gonna put those back inside my coop here. Another thing that I'm going to do is all of my friends in here are going to get a health check. So my spring chicks are in the coop and it's so exciting to see everybody all integrated and getting along. But I'm going to give everybody a quick check. I'm going to check their feet. I'm going to check their legs. I'm going to make sure that they're clean. Some of my birds went through a spring molt, so I'm making sure that they did okay through that molt. And we're just going to make sure that everybody is good and healthy and strong for those summertime temperatures. Another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to check my feeders and my waterers. So I do switch out my feeder and my waterer for the summertime, and I go with a feeder that is a little bit easier to fill for me during the summertime, and the birds cannot kick the mess all over the place. I really like PVC pipe feeders, and I left a link in the description below to a DIY project to make your own. I've been using mine for about 6 years now, and I love them. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out that water. I'm going to give it a good clean from last year. I cleaned it at the end of the season last year, but I like to clean again. And I'm just gonna make sure that they have a big water in the summertime because those warm temperatures, they're gonna be drinking more water. So we wanna make sure that their feeder and waterers are ready to go. Speaking of feeders and waterers, I'm also going to take a look at their feed. Now this year I didn't adjust anybody's feed. Everybody basically ate the same all winter long, but we've had winters in the past where I've had to add in a little bit more high protein or a little bit of feather fixer into their feed. So I'm just going to check the feed, make sure they're eating the proper feed for the summertime. We're going to back off on treats like dried corn or anything like that. If I want to offer them a treat in the summertime, I'm going to offer them things like ice cubes full of fruit. I'm going to offer them dried herbs, and I'm going to float mint in their water, just a little bit more fresh treats during the summertime. Another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that our nest box and our housing area here is free from any pests. So this particular coop that I have here, I have the omelet with that plastic type of makeup. I don't have to really worry about any sort of mites or anything like that, but if you have a wooden coop, which we've had in the past, I'm going to make sure to scrub the inside of that coop down. I'm going to spray things like a lavender essential oil and vinegar, and I'm going to make sure the inside of the coop is clean so we don't get any pests or anything like that. Another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add additional dust bathing buckets. And here's what my bucket looks like here. So I'm still building these today, but I absolutely love using these, and I put extra ones in during the summertime because it's gonna help our friends with dust bathing, and they're easy, they're portable. I love them because I'm moving this coop all over the place, and I had to come up with a way that they could still have their dust bath, and using those plastic containers like that just work absolutely fantastic. The last next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my flock has plenty of shade. So I know, buddy. I'm going to either move the tractor into a shaded area when it's really, really hot outside, or I've got some covers like this that I'm going to use to cover up my coop here, and I'm gonna make sure that they have access to lots of shade when the temperatures get really hot. I know, Colonel, I even have a small fan that is solar powered that I can connect to my coop here if I really need that ventilation. Speaking of ventilation, oh, one more thing. I'm also gonna open up the vents on my coop here. So if you have a coop that you adjust those vents depending on the season, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna open those up. And yeah, everybody's going to be ready for the summertime. I don't know, I think my flock would agree with me that we are definitely ready for the summer after the long winter that we have had here in Northeast Ohio. If you have any questions about getting your flock ready for the summer, let us know in the comments below. Oh my goodness, my roosters are ready for their treats. I better give them their treats. Thank you so much for watching.